King Wenceslas looked out on the feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even, brightly shone the moon.
'Twas the day before Christmas, Irish fans. Have you been good all year? Because it is time for Notre Dame football. It's like Christmas has come. We've all been waiting. I am so excited to be podcasting you. Notre Dame versus Florida State in Tallahassee. Throw your tomahawks away, but bring out your shillelaghs. Let's go, Irish. Pour yourself a drink. Go straight into it.
Three wide receivers right. They're going to go for two. Back to throw. Walks, looks. Has the time. Lost the ball. The pass is batted down. It's batted down by Carroll.
Dawson throws. Open receiver in the end zone. Touchdown. Notre Dame. Somehow the Irish did it.
Out of the pack. 30, 35. Goodbye, baby. At the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Five rocket touchdown. Irish.
Zibikowski looking for a block. Cuts to the right to the 40. Gets a block. Gets to the 45, 50. Up to the 45, 40, 30. One man to beat. 20, 15, 10. He's done to the 5. Touchdown, Irish.
Happy Christmas morning, Fighting Irish Faithful. Welcome to the Fighting Irish Faithful podcast. It is Christmas morning, Irish fans. Well, the day before Christmas morning. At least that's what it feels like in this house. I am so excited for Notre Dame football. I look forward to it every year, and the first game of the year, I am just pumped up, amped up, so excited. Welcome. You can follow me on Twitter at faithful_Irish and on YouTube, Fighting Irish Faithful, and email gmail at fightingirishfaithful@gmail.com, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere there is to find a podcast on planet Earth, you can probably find me. Probably also in the North Pole, if your phone works in the snow. But anyway, like I said, it is time to play football, and we're recording on Saturday morning. We've got some games coming up here on Saturday, games that don't necessarily directly impact Notre Dame right now, but it will be fun later today to watch some football. And this podcast you can pop in tomorrow morning on your way to church, on your way to Mass, go to Mass, and then the game is tomorrow. I'm sure all of you, like me, are not only excited, but you've already prepared your house, right? You know, you've put the stockings under the mantle, you've trimmed the tree, you've probably mowed your lawn at this point, and it's starting to feel like fall. There's a crisp chill in the air. The morning was rainy here in Indianapolis, so we got some crappy winter-ish weather going on in the fall. We had a heat wave recently, and so now that was kind of pushed out. And the doc said to me this morning, I'm not ready for it to get cold, as she wraps herself in a really warm, cozy bathrobe. It was pretty funny, but we've got nacho fixins on deck. If you've got a jersey or a Notre Dame shirt, you've ironed it, washed it, dry clean. Maybe you dry clean. You've got your TV all set up. If you bought a new TV, it's clearly installed, and you've been doing all that. And of course, some tasty beverages have been acquired. This morning, we are not drinking scotch. I know, but it's early morning, and I'm not an alcoholic, so but we've got some black coffee here. How about that? But yeah, your schedule is cleared. You've already prepared yourself to watch the Irish on ABC, 7 o'clock, 7:30, whatever. It's probably closer to 8 by the time, the TV stations allow the game to kick off. And everything is prepared for Santa, and maybe Brian Kelly is Santa. I don't know. He is if he brings us a bowl win this year. How about that? So, but football has already started last week. I think Illinois and Nebraska were the first to kick off, and it's kind of funny to watch Illinois beat Nebraska. I didn't even watch the game. I was like, they're starting football way before you probably ever should. That's just my opinion. The other days we watched some UCF and Boise. I was so excited to see Boise score their first touchdown on a pick six, 100 yards, and they still lost. So damn it, Boise State, my second favorite team. I'm still rooting for Boise State versus Notre Dame in Vegas next season. I think there's 1 or 2 games that's still not scheduled as of this morning, September 4th of 2021. So Notre Dame versus Boise in Vegas. I'll take Oregon as a backup, maybe even Cal, not BYU. No. Boise or Oregon in Vegas. Let's do that. We watched Minnesota versus Ohio State. Now, I was really rooting for Ohio State to lose and the Golden Gophers to dominate. That was the first game that when I flipped on, I saw the stands packed in Minneapolis. Just seeing the Gopher Nation just go nuts. It was really good to see student sections full, fans in the stadium, no one wearing masks or any of that shenanigans. It's really good to see. Very positive, though they didn't win. Now Minnesota does have a place in my heart, and that's because I have family that still lives in Minnesota, extended family, and my grandparents were both from there. My grandfather, an Italian immigrant, grew up there and was a graduate of the University of Minnesota in their aerospace engineering department. Next game we watched was the UNC game. And they lost to Vodtech. Everyone is just all over North Carolina and like, oh, they're going to be so good. And I'm like, no, they're not. Who says? Like, we smoked them last year and without Kyle Hamilton after getting a targeting penalty last year. So UNC lost. Check my Twitter timeline at faithful_Irish, where I make fun of them. North Carolina's quarterback, he is an experienced guy, and he threw an Everett Golson-ish interception right at the end of the game. It was pretty terrible. And then last but not least, funny story, yesterday after the Vodtech game was over, Michigan State is killing Northwestern, and I don't care about either team, Northwestern, Michigan State. I probably respect Michigan State a little bit more, but only because Pat Fitzgerald hates Notre Dame, and so I kind of want to hate on Northwestern in kind of the same energy there. And they're killing them, and the doc turns to me and says, hey, can we watch HGTV instead? And I'm like, sure, because I don't care about either team. So take that, Big Ten. So we've got some big games today. Bama and Miami, Clemson and Georgia. There's some good stuff going on today to certainly entertain us to kick the season off. But Notre Dame, tomorrow, Sunday, after church in the evening, it's Christmas here, and we've got us playing Florida State at Florida State. And kind of a weird game on a Sunday. Notre Dame over the last 20 years has only had a handful of opening games that were on the road and away. Most recently, it was at Louisville in 2019. By the way, some of you are still on your podcast saying Louisville. Stop it. Get it right. Louisville, all right? You make yourself look foolish, okay? But at Louisville in 2019, and I actually missed most of that game because the doc and I were flying home from a weekend in Vegas, celebrating a friend's birthday, just a Vegas getaway over the Labor Day weekend. It was crazy. We had a lot of fun. We didn't lose too much money, although I did hit a 4 of a kind in video poker at the Golden Nugget. Speaking of the Golden Nugget, when Notre Dame does play in Vegas next season, I've already told the doc we're staying at the Golden Nugget, and she's totally on board with that. But anyway, that was the last time we were in Vegas, and that was the last time Notre Dame played a true away game to open the season. Before that was 2016 at Texas, where we lost in overtime 47-50. And then 10 years before that, 2006 and 2005, both of Charlie Weiss's first 2 seasons were true away games, at Georgia Tech in 2006 and at Pitt in 2005. Both of those wins. And then before that, Tyrone Willingham's last season in 2004 versus BYU, where he lost 17-20. And then in 2001, Bob Davie lost at Nebraska 10-27. That was also his last season. So something I find ironic is those last two losses I just mentioned were those respective coaches' last opening games of their last season, if that makes sense. But then in 2016, recall that Brian Kelly went a whopping 4-8, and I would say he had to kind of go through some sort of death and rebirth, kind of situation, kind of resurrect himself. And so, so that was the end and the death of Brian Kelly 1.0, and then 2017 with Josh Adams and Wimbush and company was Brian Kelly 2.0. But yeah, the history of Notre Dame versus Florida State as we kick off this season. Historically, Notre Dame has a losing record to Florida State, 4 wins versus 6 losses. But Notre Dame is on a 2-game winning streak. Last year, we won 42-26, and before that we killed them at home with Dexter Williams with terrible color clashing green jersey. I like the green jerseys, but the blue and it just was way too many primary colors. My eyes couldn't handle it. It was like, kids coloring, in a coloring book. It's just like, let's grab all the bright colors and throw them on the page. That was Notre Dame's jerseys in 2018. But in the last 2 times Notre Dame played Florida State in Florida were both losses. More recently, 2014, a 31-27 loss. And if you recall, that was a very controversial call. I won't go into that, but Notre Dame was called for offensive pass interference with Corey Robinson wide the hell open in the end zone. And, go back and watch it yourself. We won't dissect that play and that game. But Notre Dame did show up into a very hostile environment, and I believe are ranked 5th or 9th in that game. And that was midseason before they had their precipitous decline under the hands of Everett Golson and Kelly. And then in 2011, Notre Dame lost in the Champs Sports Bowl to Jimbo Fisher 14-18. And I think we blew a very large lead to lose that game in the 4th quarter. So that was disappointing. But in 2002, the time before that, this happened.
Out of the eye, play action fake. Holiday rolling out to the right, looking to throw. Throwing long downfield, got a man downfield. Battle at the 25, at the 20, the 15, at the 10, on an angle. 5, he'll score. Touchdown Notre Dame. 65 yards on the first play. Carlisle Holiday to Arnaz Battle.
Oh, Tony, you talk about lighting it up.
Every time I watch that replay of Arnaz Battle catching the ball, I get chills. I'm pumped up. I'm like, let's do this. If Notre Dame comes out like that, I'm so excited because I was bitching all last season about how our passing game was less than adequate. And if Tommy Rees, Jack Cohn, and our receivers and Kelly can say, man, we got to shut the hell this guy up over at Fighting Irish Faithful podcast. He's been kind of a dick to us. Let's have him eat his words. I hope that happens, okay? Make me eat my own words, all right? Let's move on with success in the passing games to complement our success in the running game. But Sunday's night game will have a lot of energy. Not only is it a night game, ABC, ESPN people will be there. Notre Dame has hurt me before with that kind of big game environment. And Bobby Bowden passed away this past year, so that stadium, Doak Campbell Stadium, is going to be off the hook, and they're going to want to win to honor the legendary head coach Bobby Bowden. I felt it necessary to talk about Bobby Bowden just a little bit. Interesting fact, his first head coaching was at Howard University, a historical black college. I actually have a high school classmate who went to Howard. But he was the head coach at Florida State for 18 years. And then he won his first title in 1993. So Kelly's entering year 12. So let's see, 8 more years. So 2029, is that math work out? I think Kelly's going to retire before that. Hopefully we win a title before that happens. And then from 1985 to 1995, Bobby Bowden won 11 consecutive bowl games. And a lot of those are New Year's Sixes, Orange Bowls, Sugar Bowls, what have you. So I'm nervous a little bit about this game just from an energy standpoint and how we haven't performed well in certain situations. But hopefully we can be the better team. And I believe that we are, based off of the following stats I'm about to share with you. Last year, Notre Dame did very well, went 10-2, and Mike Norvell in now his second season with a .33 win percentage. They went 3-6 last year, his first season. They had a lot of turmoil and COVID and whatever, so he gets a little bit of a pass with the COVID stuff. And he had a good record at Memphis before that. His career as a head coach was about 2 out of 3 as far as his win percentage. But Kelly at Notre Dame has a record of 72%, and which is better than his career in Division One. Before even coming to Notre Dame and including his Notre Dame. And recruiting. Notre Dame's 4-year recruiting average is 13th from 24/7. They were 9th most recently, then 18, 15, and 10. And then Florida State is 22, 22, 18, and 11 with an average of 18.25. So on average, Notre Dame has better talent and a better coach. Notre Dame is ranked 9th in the AP poll, 7th in the coaches poll. Now, hopefully these polls aren't complete garbage, because North Carolina, who I just trashed on earlier, was ranked 10th. And they didn't show up, and they didn't look like the 10th best team at all. But hey, who knows? It is what it is. All the other stats that I normally look at, I will not bore you with, because quite frankly, they're kind of meaningless based off of last year. New team, new program, new players. Notre Dame's got new offensive linemen, quarterbacks, everything. So Florida State is a new team as well. But there are a few stats that are of note from last year. Florida State was better than Notre Dame in red zone touchdowns, but both were pretty crappy in red zone scoring as a whole. Florida State was 111th, and Notre Dame was 102nd in just red zone scoring period. So that's pretty bad. And I gave Tommy Rees a lot of crap for that as well. So he's got to score in the red zone and score passing touchdowns this season. Florida State is also a decent running team. They average 199 yards on the ground, and Notre Dame averaged 211. So they're very similar on rushing yards. And in rushing percentage as a selection of play, Florida State runs the ball 55%. That's pretty high. And Notre Dame, though, 58%. So, but yards per point, the stat I always come back down to, the efficiency of one's offense, how well you can do. Notre Dame last year was 13.4. Florida State last year, 15.4. So clear advantage to Notre Dame there. The last 10 years, the average national champion, their yards per point is 11.7. So if you're at 11, 12, around that mark, you're having a good year. TeamRankings.com is giving Notre Dame a 69% chance to win, which seems kind of low given all the things I just described. And Notre Dame is only getting a 7-point spread margin. I wonder if the away game and the Bobby Bowden thing have something to do with that, and the fact that Notre Dame has a new quarterback and kind of untested, unproven receivers and offensive line. But Notre Dame's defense is far superior, and I'm not a betting man on sports, although I'm being inundated with sports betting on my phone and Twitter and even on TV, ads, whatever. I think I even see it on a billboard on the highway every day I drive into work. But anyway, Notre Dame's only getting 7 points as a spread to their advantage. So I think Notre Dame should cover the spread. I don't bet on Notre Dame because I don't do that. I don't want to bet on them and then, they don't cover the spread, but they win, because then I'll be like half disappointed. I'm not going to do that. So I'd rather just go to the casino, play craps or video poker or something. Per reports coming out of Notre Dame, that Brian Kelly over the last few weeks has been blasting the Tomahawk chant, the war chant. I even considered playing it tonight in the podcast, and I said absolutely not. Last week, Sunday, we go to Mass, and we go to the 8 a.m. early Mass, getting the baby out of the car, heading in the parking lot into Mass. But right as I'm getting the baby's car seat out, I hear behind us there's a baseball field for a park, and they start playing the Florida State chant, and it's like 7:55 in the morning. And I just stop what I was doing, and I turn and I give the dirtiest look possible to the park in general. And then after Mass come out, there's a bunch of Little League games. So respect to the Little League people, but whoever's running the PA system in Craig Park in Greenwood, screw you. All right, screw you. Go Irish, beat Seminoles. But I'm really glad that Kelly is blasting the Tomahawk chant. He is trying to create a decently adverse environment at practice. I hope he's just slapping people with tackling dummies, something just to make it difficult for them. I hope practice sucks. Any good football player will tell you that practice is supposed to suck, because if practice sucks, you work hard during the game and the game seems easier. I think that was also Bobby Bowden's philosophy as well. And hey, look at him. He's a legend. He has 2 titles under his belt. I'm really hoping that Notre Dame pulls out a win here. Now, I don't know what else Kelly is doing at his practices and what else is going on with the team. I am not credentialed media. I'm just a dude with a Twitter account, a microphone, a mortgage, a wife and a kid upstairs, and a car payment. So I am not a professional. I have a real job. Nothing against, media people, but I'm not in the inner fold here. All right. You're all getting my honest, truthful opinion, and I'm bringing a passion to this because I like doing this as a hobby and a way to thoroughly embrace my Fighting Irish and engage with other people of similar interest, or people who are bored on a Saturday morning and are watching this. No offense, guys. Mike Norvell at Florida State, I'm not sure what he's doing in his practices, but he has not officially announced who the quarterback will be for Florida State, and he's not going to do it until kickoff. So this either means one of two things. One, he's a complete dumbass, and he has no grasp of his program, and he is trying to figure something out like Charlie Weiss in 2007, where we rotate 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the opening game and still get our butts kicked at home. I don't think that's what he's doing, though. I think he's trying to do some mind games, some sort of chess match, hold his cards in to create some adversity for Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame's defense by, okay, I got this quarterback over here or that quarterback over there, and both are a little different, so how are we going to, plan out? I think it's just gamesmanship on his part. We'll see how successful it is. I don't think he will be. But one other thought I had is Mike Norvell had some turmoil with his players last year, and maybe this is a way to build trust with his team within the tribe. You like that, what I did there? And trying to make it secret on purpose. And so if all the players know and all the coaches know, but no one outside of that circle knows, that's a way to build trust within one's program. Maybe that's what he's doing. I don't know. This sounds like some weird psychological thing that Lou Holtz would do, but way too simple and probably not helpful at all. But because Mike Norvell is not Lou Holtz by a long shot. The 2 quarterbacks possibly are Jordan Travis, who was the quarterback who faced Notre Dame last year, and he did amass about 300 yards, so good for him, even though they lost. Or Mackenzie Milton, who is a transfer from UCF. Now, he had a really bad injury in 2018, but he had almost 10,000 yards and 100 touchdowns almost. So this guy can put points on the board, and of course at UCF, when you play garbage teams, that's very possible to do. So no disrespect to Mr. Milton. I actually think that is who Norvell is going to play now that he has this healthy transfer quarterback, and that would be kind of interesting. 2 grad transfer kind of guys going at it, Cone versus Milton. So if I'm going to bet on something, I would bet on that. The concerns I have for this game are kind of transcend for the season and my concerns going into the season. The main one is the offensive line and their level of experience. Notre Dame lost many players to the NFL, some of them taken early of the 6 rounds. At one point before Kane Madden transferred in, there were only 31 career starts for the entire offensive line. So that is a problem. You've had guys that have battled injury, like Patterson, who went out with a foot injury, and then Zeke Correll had to come in, but Zeke Correll got some really good playing time, really good experience last year. But the depth chart will have Josh Lugg, who's kind of been in and out. He's starting at right tackle. Kane Madden, a transfer, who is actually from Marshall, which is interesting, but he has seen success at Marshall, and good experience, so welcome Notre Dame. Jarrett Patterson, who is back playing center, the position he deserves, and I think is a preseason All-American watch list kind of guy. Zeke Correll moving over to left guard, who does have some decent experience, but not a whole lot. And then true freshman from Avon, Indiana, suburb of Indianapolis, Blake Fisher. This dude is awesome, but he is a freshman at left tackle, very important position. But he is a 5-star, and so I believe he has the athletic ability to be in that position. I don't think Kelly would put him there with Jeff Quinn as the offensive line coach. They're putting him there because they trust him to cover the blind side of Jack Cohn. So on initial glance, with all these guys departing to the NFL, but then you step back and you look at, well, this guy here is a grad transfer. This guy is a graduate student. This guy's a senior. This guy's a junior and a true freshman. So there is kind of a wide breadth, and you've got some guys with talent and guys with experience. So I think the offensive line can be okay, can be successful. They will make or break how the offense performs, anything from the running game to establishing the pocket, allowing Cohn to find his receivers. The next piece I want Notre Dame to work on and to overcome is the deep pass connection that has clearly been lacking the last couple years. No disrespect to Ian Book. He has the most wins of any starting quarterback in Notre Dame history, but he did not throw the deep ball. We need someone like a Deshaun Kaiser to Will Fuller, a Tommy Reese to Michael Floyd, a Jimmy Clausen to Golden Tate, a Quinta Samardzija connection, or a Carlisle Holiday to Arnez Battle. We need something like that this game. Who is Cohn going to throw to? Is it going to be Austin? Is it going to be Watts, Lenzy, Davis, Wilkins, Keys, Colsey, Styles, Salerno? Which one of these receivers is going to be the man? Who is going to step up? I need one of these guys to be the household name with Jack Cohn this year. This will help our offensive efficiency. It will allow us to run the ball by having a deep threat. Defenses will not be able to cheat up on us. Run the ball, that is the cornerstone of the offense, and then passing is a supplement on top of that. But both have to be productive from a touchdown standpoint. Or is it going to be Mike Mayer? Mike Mayer, our tight end, he's a sophomore. He's no longer a freshman. This guy has been told to be unguardable based on his size and athletic ability, his hands, his strength. We're going to give him a nickname, though, since he is Mayor. He is the Mayor. We're going to say Your Honor, because I believe that's how you address a mayor of a town. So Your Honor, Mike Mayer, looking forward to this season with you. The toast of the episode is to the offensive line. Blake Fisher, Zeke Correll, Jarrett Patterson, Kane Madden, Josh Lugg, and we'll also throw the honorable Mike Mayer in there. Cheers to you guys. I'm really looking forward to the season, looking forward to hanging out with everybody on Twitter during the game, chatting you up. I'll probably have a baby in one arm and then the phone in the other as we watch the game. And then every now and then we'll take a sip of beer and eat some nachos as well. I am going to one game this season. I am going to the Navy game, going with some Knights of Columbus people. We're going to have a good time. And that is where we are at. But first, we've got a big test in Tallahassee tomorrow. And it's like Christmas over here, as I said before. So everyone, thank you for joining me. Enjoy this game. And this is the first step of let's hopefully 13 more to reach the top of the summit. Take care, everyone. Go Irish. Beat Seminoles.